Hey, everybody. Ahmed, hello, good afternoon. Happy Sunday. It's been a while since I did a live. I've been pretty busy. Vince, how you, Vince? I just got your seeds, by the way. Thanks, Vince. Got your package right over here. So I think I'm gonna start that very soon. Dylan, Aaron, and Florio, hello. Good afternoon. How you guys doing? Can everybody hear me okay? England is playing in the finals. Yes. Yes. I wish you guys the best. I hope England will win. Hey there, Tony. Philip. Good to have you back, my friend. Hello, Agatha. Chaotic Bacon. All right. We have 27 people. Uh, yeah. Thanks for joining me on a Sunday afternoon. Hope everybody's having a good day. I don't have anything planned as usual. I just got some work done in the garden. I was working with my pear trees, and guys, I was working around and I shook the branch and one of it fell off. Look at this. This is the Asian pear. They get really big. This is still a baby pear, but I have a ton of these right now growing, like lots and lots of them. So I'm very excited about that. I just made a video recently, a few days ago, about the pears. So if you guys haven't seen it, you should check it out. Pear trees are one of my favorite fruits to grow because they're really easy. Actually, they're easy once you get the hang of them, and they produce a lot of fruits. So pears are great to grow. Also, they can grow in really cold climate, like down to -10 degrees for the Asian pears. So I have, let's see, 4 trees, but I did a lot of grafting. So 4 trees, but I actually have 8 different varieties because I graft different varieties onto one or multiple pear trees. So I have a really cool looking grafted pear. Stefan, football on now. This is better place to be. Thanks for joining me, Stephen. Yeah, football is always a great event for people in Europe, right? It's a big deal over there. But I'm glad you're here. So yeah, again, I was doing a lot of work outside. It's so hot today, like almost up in the 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Pepper plants are doing great. Tomato plants are doing really well. Have a lot of tomatoes, but they're turning yellow because the heat. There's just so much heat. And my peppers are struggling a little bit. A lot of my cool weather vegetables are all dead, and I'm growing a lot of herbs like Thai basil. Um, Rosemary. They grow all year, and I have like a shiso, a bunch of other good stuff. Jim, Mr. Jim Kingsman, hello, sir. Good to have you here. Philip, thanks, King. I've been enjoying some of my reapers. Oh man, you got reapers ready already? I have a reaper crossed with a maruga that I'm very excited about. So I'm going to show that to you guys later when that one's ready. But guys, look at my beautiful little plant. It's still alive, and it has some fruit on it already. I saw a few fruits right here. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's hard to see because the plant is like completely purple, and it has a little bit white somewhere, and then it has like all kinds of cool looking colors. But yeah, it's a beautiful plant. So if you guys like ornamental plants, this is a great one to grow. This is called the pink tiger. Really neat little fruit. It's not growing very much right now, but I do have fruit for this little thing. So isn't that cool? That's just such a, I could do a bonsai with this. Look at this. So beautiful. Look at the flowers. That really cool. Vince, let's see. Shiso and Perilla smell so good. So different. Yeah. Shiso has bigger leaves. Yes, you're right. The shiso is like the Japanese and Korean kind. Sometimes they call it sesame leaf. And the leaves are like the size of my hand. And the purple perilla that I grow are the one that the Vietnamese people really love in their soups and stuff like that. So I grow. Actually, I don't grow them; they just grow on their own. And I picked them out and put them into my raised bed, and now they're like really pretty. Also, right now I'm doing a bunch of hydroponic projects. Oh, Vince, you asked me how to grow hydroponic for elephant ear. Look at this, buddy. This is for you. Um, I told you that I was going to do it after you asked me to do it. So here it is, my friend. Look at that. This is the elephant ear, the Vietnamese elephant ear that we use this plant for the stems. The stems are the best part of the plant. And it's growing. Look at it. There's a bunch of roots in there. You see it? Yeah. And so after Vince asked me to do a project, I went outside and I dug up the root. And when I dug it up, there's this. I got 3 plants that are really small that are starting to split from the parent. And I put it into hydroponic. And I have this one in a small system, and I have another one in a larger system sitting in outside. So this is going to be great. I don't think I've ever seen anybody grow elephant ear. This is the Vietnamese elephant ear in hydroponic before. But look at all these roots. It's really cool. It's working. So yeah, so it's been fun so far. So I'm gonna keep it growing, and then once it get bigger, I might just move it outside into a larger system. Allison, hello, Allison. Good to have you back. Let me go to the chat. Oh, the Peppa Guru, Rich. Good afternoon, my friend. Good to have you here. Yeah, Rich. I have 2 of them growing. One is in a 5-gallon bucket, and then this one. Yeah, you're right. It loves a lot of water. The guys, if you have not seen this before, these are Vietnamese ear. We call it bạc hà, and we use it for the stems. We make sour soups with them, and this is a really cool plant. It's a tropical plant, but it can survive down to freezing. It'll die from the top, but the bulb at the bottom, they will stay alive, and they will overwinter themselves until the next season, and they'll grow right back. So even the frost that we had that killed everything in Texas in February, it didn't kill these guys. They came right back, which is really amazing, because I thought that these would really gonna die in when the ground freezes over, but it didn't. It came back, and it's grown all strong again. So if you grow these, you can grow them as ornamental. You put them into your landscape, and they look very neat. They look like taro leaves and stuff, but you can eat the stem. And they're beautiful. They're easy to maintain. They don't have a lot of pests. So when you grow them, no bugs are going to eat them, because I've not seen any that would eat these. Philip, lemon starburst plants have big leaves as my hands. Oh yeah, you know what? A lot of the superhots are also that way. I grew a few Scotch bonnet and some Scotch brains and stuff like that. Uh, they start out, the leaves are like the size of my hands, and then of course once they start growing, they get smaller and smaller. But yeah, some varieties can get Chinense varieties. The leaves can get enormous, like a big leaf. You know, the bottom leaves, the first two sets of leaves are huge. Let's see, Douglas, you asked what kind of beneficial bugs do I have in the garden? Basically, I just let whatever come to the garden stay in the garden. So for the beneficial bugs, of course, ladybugs always come around, but they'll fly away. I have lace wings that always come around. I have a lot of wasps that come, bees, and yeah, there are all kinds of different animals out there. So there's a lot. Mantises, they come by sometimes. So soldier flies, I got a ton of soldier flies right now in my compost. Um, a lot of people think that soldier flies may be bad flies, but they're actually really good because they are probably one of the best decomposer in the garden that you can find. Um, I mean, yeah, they could look disgusting if you have a pile of compost with a lot of dead matter, and then the baby soldier flies look just like maggots, you know. But if you keep them in a contained area and allow them just to eat the compost and stuff like that, they would eat up everything. Soldier flies are just amazing. A lot of people raise soldier flies to feed like fish and all that stuff. There's a lot of other ways that people do. So there are countries that breed soldier flies for food sources for other animals like chickens and the ducks and all that stuff. So they're really nice. Yeah, every time I go outside, I see around 5 to 10 just landing on my plant, and they just come out of my compost area. You know, when you have dead matter that start to break down slowly, and there's a lot of moisture in the organic matter, the flies will lay the eggs in there, and then they will eat up the compost. And of course, in the process, they break it down too, but they do eat a lot of them. So soldier flies are one of the better decomposer in the garden. They're really good to have around, and they look like black bees. You know, sometimes people may get confused. They look like black bees, really. They don't look like a fly at all. Am I harvesting? Yes, I am harvesting a ton of lingrias. I have a lot of Thai varieties that I grow. They're all ready to go. A lot of my linzo crosses, man, I have so many of the linzo crosses that are producing like crazy. And I've been eating peppers like the beginning of June. Yeah. So I've had peppers since June, but as far as the super hots, I have not had any yet. So only the regular medium size, the Thai varieties, and the Lingria crosses and the Linzo crosses. They just produce so fast and so much, you know. And so I had some friends over. They picked a bunch of my Thai varieties to take home. They love them. Where can you get the lemon starburst seeds? You can probably trade for them on Pepper Lovers Community. Just go there and trade them. Nice, Alan. I'm glad you're growing that. I'm growing the same one as well, and they're very productive. I hope yours is productive as well. But my plants are like producing like crazy right now. Chocolate Naga. Oh, chocolate Nagas are good. They're nice varieties. I've grown the red Naga before, and I really like them in dry powder. Ponton, hello, my friend. Douglas, Texas season started a few months ago. Well, we get really early season, and so you can actually grow peppers at the end of March and early April. So and then it goes all the way till sometimes December, sometimes even January. So our season is very it's different every year. So sometimes you get peppers all the way into December, and sometimes you get it all the way into January. Oh, cheers, y'all! If you guys are having a beer, cheers. Let's see if there is anything I have missed. Oh, yes. So I wanted to talk about hydroponic for a second. Right now, man, it is so hot outside. I have a few plants that I'm growing in hydroponic outside, my tomatoes, and they're doing pretty good. But sometimes the heat could be too much for them. And amazingly, they still produce a lot of tomatoes. But you can tell the plant is struggling like crazy because you know if you have a 5 gallon sitting in the heat of Texas that is like 90 degrees plus, the the water kind of heat up, and so it gives the plant a lot of trouble. But I'm amazed that two of my tomato varieties are still growing in that type of heat, and actually giving me a lot of tomatoes, the cherry tomatoes. Your star kiss is still messed up. Don't know why. That sucks because the star kiss is a really nice variety. I'm growing a bunch of them this year. Let's see, I'm growing peach star kiss, lemon starburst, scarlet rose, um, uh, the California Reaper. I'm growing that, and I am growing the Peppa Guru's yellow fatale. It's getting really big. It's sitting over there right now. It's getting much larger than the last time. So I have them in hydroponic until they get about maybe 7 or 8 inches tall, and then I'll take it outside and put it in soil. Aaron Hernandez, hello, my friend. 105 here all week. Jesus, that is hot. Wow. Yes, Rich Starkiss is a really good producer. I'm glad you liked that you grew them last year. Of course, under your hands, anything probably is super productive. But Aaron, man, 105, that's crazy. All week, I think we're up in the 90s. We haven't hit 100 yet, but we're in high 90s, which is pretty hot. Ricardo, no, I don't sell seeds, but you can always find my seeds on Pepper Lovers Community on Facebook. There's a lot of people growing them, so you can trade there. The Sriracha Hornet. You know what? I think I might have forgotten to grow that variety. I grew it last year. Oh man, that thing wrecked me last year. It's very hot. This year, I had to limit down the numbers of plants I grow, and I think the Hornet. I think it may be somewhere. I'm not sure. I may have grown one plant or maybe zero because I forget. I always forget, and then sometimes I go back and grow them later, and it's late. Excuse me. What organic certified nutrients do you recommend for lettuce, other vegetable? I would like to avoid synthetic blends. Are you asking about hydroponic or soil nutrients? Because if it's hydroponic, then I don't use any organic at all. I use, let's see, the master blend that works amazing for lettuce. Um, I have used the AeroGuard nutrients. It works really well. The DynaGrow series works great. But as far as organic, I don't use any when I grow in hydroponic. If you're asking for soil, in soil, I do use organic stuff mainly. Most of the time, it's basically all organic. and I use let's see, the fish Alaska fish fertilizer, and I just mix it with soil, and it works great on lettuce and stuff like that. I mean, I can't comment on if it's safe or not, but it's a widely used nutrients for a lot of hydroponic places, and I've used it for years, and I eat all the hydroponic lettuce that I grow, and I mean, to me, I think it's okay. Yeah. You know, it's very difficult to grow hydroponically and use organic stuff because firstly, the organic nutrients are very expensive. Well, at least the ones that I looked up in the past, they're really, really expensive. And so I was like, you know what, I can just use the regular master blend. I buy a pound of it for like just a few bucks, and it'll last me like maybe a year and a half or even longer, you know, because all you use is you know, a few grams of it at a time. So you buy it by the pounds, and it'll last forever. And I even use the master blend in my soil sometimes. And so it works both ways. It works in hydroponic, but it also works in your soil garden as well. So I've used both in hydroponic and in soil. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, I don't know any organic hydroponic product that I can recommend because I never use them. Let's see. Yeah, Ricardo, the KS white tie is a great variety. I'm growing like 20 of those this year. Actually, every year I grow like around at least 10 plants of the KS white tie because my family loved that thing. Oh, Neptune's harvest make really good stuff. Are they organic nutrients from Neptune? Yeah, again, because I do a lot of testing and you know, just trial and stuff like that. Um, the organic one is not worth my time because it's too expensive, and you know, it's not worth my test. I want to grow with stuff that are, you know, affordable, so I can do a lot of tests, and that's what I do. I run experiments all the time, and so the cheapest product would usually work. I mean, it's not always the cheapest that work the best, you know. I do go with the stuff that I know that would work for all of the plants. Uh, you know, when I pick my fruits or vegetables from the hydroponic, I just put it into the sink. I wash it up and eat it. That's it. That's how I do it. Just pull the leaf. Sometimes I pull the leaf off and eat it right there. Um, in the past, like this is years ago. This is many, many years ago. When you grow in hydroponic, before you harvest, you have to dilute it. You have to run it through fresh water, and before you harvest, and that is no longer the case. You can now just harvest it. That's what they do in the grocery stores. They just harvest it, bag it up, and send it off. They don't rinse or do whatever that the process is called, where you run it through fresh water. Yeah, Fatali pod test. Fatali's are great varieties, guys. If you ever grown them before, I've grown the red Fatalis and the yellow Fatalis, and I kind of prefer the yellow one, not because of any of the flavor differences. I just like the yellow looks better. It looks more attractive for me, so I just love growing the yellow ones. And so this year I'm growing the yellow Fatali, and definitely I'm going to do a taste test on that. I'm starting it in hydroponic, and then once it's ready, I'm gonna move it outside into soil, and then I allow it to grow and enter my plant in the contest. Is there a way to tell what color your cross will be? Yes, for the most part. It's very down to the basic. Like when we study in school the crossing of sweet peas, and you use the Punnett square where the dominant traits will become will usually produce dominant offsprings. So usually if you cross a red pod with a yellow pod, it's going to be red. And then of course you're going to have those recessive traits that will come out later, and every 10 or so plant, or every 5 or 6 plants, you may get one that would turn yellow. So that is the reason why my lemon starburst, peach darkest, and the scarlet rose are natural variations. They come out all different colors. It's not because of any particular cross. It just originally it came out yellow, and then it came out red, and then it came out peach. So you just have to grow out a bunch of them. Again, the red is dominant. So if you take pollen from the red pod, the offspring are going to come out red for the most part, like the first F1. And then if you keep growing it over the years, you keep picking different pods, you may get a yellow one. So it's a process of trial and error. So it's always good to grow like a lot of plants if you want different variations. If you cross plants and you only grow 1 or 2, you're gonna miss out on some of the different traits that may show up as recessive. Oh, Doreen. Yeah, a lot of the earlier videos, I don't show my face, but yeah, good to have you here. Thanks for joining us. Let's see, Don, I have a jalapeno that has purple spots on the leaves, and then those leaves are shriveling up. Any idea what the problem is? If you have spots on the leaves, first, are you growing this in hydroponic, or are you growing it in soil? Um, so usually spots could be fungal disease, but not always. Sometimes spot is because of um, there is a deficiency. Like for example, when I grow my plants in hydroponic, I sometimes I get spot on the leaves, and then the spot will get more spots. Grown in soil, okay. It could be there's you have too much water. Too much water could be a huge problem. The first sign is that your leaves will turn yellow, or it'll curl up, or it may have potential spots in them, because when the roots are drowning in water, uh, it it's inhibited from taking up the nutrients it needs. And so the first thing it does is it starts to suffocate. So the leaves turn yellow, and then you get spots, it curled up, and the leaves will fall off. So check your soil to see if it's always wet all the time. Pepper don't like their feet wet all the time. You give it a thorough water, make sure the water is saturated into the soil, everything is moistened up, and then just let it dry out, and then repeat the process. But if you do that every day, it's going to be a huge problem. So usually when you see spots, or yellow leaves, or curling leaves, or leaves falling off, or the plant's looking healthy, the first sign is always check to see if there's just too much water where the plant is. And if there's not too much water, it could be because your soil may be depleted of nutrients. There's nothing for the plants to feed. So the plants just don't have anything to grow off of, or feed itself. So it starts to look weak and have spots, which is a deficiency. And the third and the last one is usually it could be a fungal disease. But fungal disease, you can tell because it starts to spread, and it looks really disgusting. But it's brown spot that starts from the center and stuff like that, and it's just spread around and around, and usually the leaves will fall off and die, and then it'll spread, and more of the other leaves will get it. Let's see. Uh, Imperial. Sorry if I could say your name wrong. Hey, King, my peppers have chlorosis, but the veins are turning yellow first. Do you know what might cause this? This is in a cracky system. So the veins is turning yellow. Is the leaves falling off eventually? Again, the leaves turning yellow is a sign that there is some kind of root problem. If you're grown in a cracky system, what could means is one, if you refill, did you refill to the original line, or did you refill whether you saw the line left off? Because in a cracky system, the roots, so here's, let's say this is where the water line starts, right? And then the water line would drop and the roots will follow the water line and get the nutrients it needs. And this gap where it was is the gap where the plants would take air. So when you refill, if you refill all the way up to the original line, you're gonna drown the plants. There's nothing, the plants can't breathe. Or if you refill a little too far, which causes the plant to have trouble breathing, and then the first thing it does is leaves turning yellow, and then it starts, the veins look yellow and stuff like that, and leaves start to fall. Also, the root become really brown because if there's no oxygen for the the roots to be able to breathe, then it starts to turn brown because it's sort of like drowning. Uh, yes, also yellow leaf is a sign that you have a nitrogen deficiency, as Peppa Guru was saying. So it's really hard to really know exactly what's going on unless we can visually see the plants. So yeah, it's really difficult. I probably need more details on what's happening. You can post pictures on the Pepper Lovers site and tag me, and then I can look at it and see. But there could be so many problems. But leaves turning yellow, in the cracky system, the first thing I would check is the roots. Are the roots brown looking? And if it is brown looking, then that is the problem right there. The roots are like deteriorating or drowning. Yeah, if you refilled, again, in a cracky system, when you refill, make sure you refill to where the water is at the time you refill, and then just go up a little bit. Don't go all the way up to the top, because if you do that, then that just would just drown the plant right away. And not right away, but it'll take like a day or two before you start to notice it. Yeah, you have to keep it under the air roots. Um, uh, Also, in the cracky systems, usually you're not supposed to refill because the system was initially made to grow veggies like leafy greens, where once it take up the nutrients, it's fully grown and that's done. You change out the system and you start over. But we start growing peppers and stuff in there, so it takes constant refill depending on the size of your container. So if you refill too often without changing out fresh nutrients, then that could also be a problem because it'll cause imbalance in your system. And when it causes imbalance, then the plants will start to have problems. What is the best way to get rid of fungus in your hydro system? How about algae? Algae, you can get rid of algae by there's multiple ways. You can change out the nutrients completely, rinse it off. Uh, a little bit algae would not be a problem, but if the system is like have too much algae, then the algae will compete for oxygen and nutrients with the plants. So since you asked about organic, you probably want to know an organic way. I would say rinse it out. A little bit of hydrogen peroxide will help circulate in there, will kill some of the algae. But usually what I would do is I would clean out the system, rinse off the algae. You can spray the roots clean, and then put fresh nutrients back. And then, you may have a little bit algae in there still, and then they'll just grow back, but it's not going to be a big problem. But again, yeah, Robin said you can use peroxide. It does work. I've tried it, and it does work. Just a few drops in there, depending on how large the system is, and that will help take care of some of the algae. As far as a fungus, you can buy those organic fungus spray. But usually, I have not had fungus when I grow hydroponic. Because usually when you grow hydroponic, if fungus or mold would grow, is because there's no air circulation. So what if you're growing stuff, just give it a nice spacing. If you space it out, allow airflow to go through, and usually the fungus and mold would not be a problem. Yeah, I don't remember getting fungus or anything like that. But I do have root rot often because of different ways that I do experimentations, trying to drown the plants and stuff like that, and testing how many days before the plant starts to struggle. And so, yeah, I've done all of those tests. And oftentimes when the plants is really big, especially with like cucumbers, the root ball is massive. They would like put out so much roots that it really fill up the whole system. And what I usually do to try to drown the plant is I refill way over the line of the air, the place where they take air in, and then they start to slowly deteriorate and drown. And then the roots will also develop like these this mold on them. And I actually did did a lot more tests to see if I can keep the plant alive. And sometimes you can, even in root rot scenarios, you can still keep the plant alive. I trim the plant down, of course. If you're going to trim the roots, you have to trim the plant. So I trimmed the plant down. Cucumbers grow back really fast. They put out side shoots and they grow all over again. And then I cut off a lot of the damaged roots that are brown and disgusting looking, and I spray it down. And then I put back fresh nutrients, apply a little bit of air to it, and it comes right back to life. So yeah, you can save your plants if it's not too far gone. GTF, did you ever dry and try to make your own cigars? Yes, I have. As a matter of fact, let me see. Let me show you something. And so here's my latest attempt. You see, guys, when you harvest tobacco leaves that has holes like this, these are holes damaged by hornworms, by the way. And when you dry them, the holes get bigger and bigger. So these are like kind of useless. So I normally try to get the full leaves that are like without any holes in them, because those are the best to work with. And when I dry them, I put them into a jar, and they're still nice and they're nice and soft and fermented. And it smells like raisins. You guys, dry raisins. This is exactly what they smell like. It does not smell like tobacco at all. It's crazy. It smells like dried raisins. Yeah. So I just harvested around 20 or 30 leaves. I mean, the leaves are massive. And right now I'm doing the curing process. Curing is basically slow dry, so that the color would fade into a brown. If your leaf dried up so fast and it dried green, that's not good. Yeah, it has to dry brown. So a reason it dries green is that it dries too quickly before the leaves get cured. So what you want to do is you want to test the temperature and also the moisture, like the humidity and stuff like that, and allow the leaves to slowly dry at the same time it cure. So when the curing process, it gets rid of all of the green leaves, the green color, and then it would dry into like a brown color, like this. So if there's green on it, then it's not good. So there's some green on it here. So this is just I'm testing with these because these are the leaves I'm going to throw away anyway because I don't like the holes. So I'm testing different temperature for the drying process with these. And I find that leaves that I did my last test batch, it was not good because it dried green. It dries too quickly. And a way to combat that is you can actually spray water on it, like filter water. Spray it on there and allow it to keep drying and keep drying so that the green will, disappear, which is the curing process. Yeah, one day when I get this down, I'm definitely gonna make a video because it's a learning experience for me, and it's actually harder than I thought. Making cigars is very difficult because the curing process takes a long time, and then after you cure it, you got to ferment it. So the fermenting process takes a little bit longer. So cigars that you buy in the stores, sometimes they ferment those for like 4 years, and then they roll it up into a cigar, and then the cigar will continue to ferment in the box that they sell you, that you can buy. That's why you have to store it in the right climate to keep the cigar fresh and nice. So yeah, cigar can be very, very expensive because the process can take a very long time. And also the leaf selections too. And different leaves work for different part of the cigars. Like the outer is called the the wrapper, and then the filler, which is the inside, they use different leaves. So there's a lot of work. Yes, Allison, too much patience. I guess this pandemic taught me a lot of patience. A lot of times to experiment and do all other things. But yeah, guys, once I don't smoke, so I'm doing this because I love the art of making cigars. But once you smell this, you're gonna be like, wow, this is such amazing. I mean, it does not smell at all like tobacco, like that you buy in tobacco boxes. This is like a box of raisins. Like you open up a box of raisin and try it. Rich, yes, I have tried Basil Hayden, and I have multiple different. I have the rye version, the bourbon version, and also like I think they made a few other blends too. Yeah, so I have tried those. I don't smoke, but will you try? Yes, definitely. If I successfully make my own cigars, I'm definitely going to try it. GTF says Fireball whiskey is good. Yeah, I guess when you're in college, Fireball is like the best thing because it's super cheap at the bar, and it'll get you really. I really love I love whiskey. I love scotch, bourbon, all kinds of stuff. Anything that Of course, all those are fermented too. So yeah, I love aged stuff. Oh man, my buddy Nam, good to have you, Nam. I didn't even see you here. Yeah, I'm gonna save you a cigar, my friend. You want a single malt, and it was just sitting there because it's pretty. Yeah, I love Irish whiskey, Scotch whiskey, basically any kind of whiskey. The aged stuff are like the best stuff. Some of them can get really expensive, but I guess if you think about it, like there's a few bottles that are like 16 years old, 18 years old, 21 years old, 25 years old, and 30-year old. Uh, they do cost a lot, but there's a lot more that go into the whiskey than the price. So sometimes the whiskey could be as old as you are, and imagine it takes your if you were to make the whiskey yourself and age it for 30 years, what would you think it would be worth? So that's how I justify buying the aged whiskey. Allison, yes, I made cocktails with my peppers. So I infused vodka with a lot of my peppers. Like I did the lemon starburst one. Lemon starburst goes really well with vodka because it has a very aromatic aroma, and also it does enhance the taste a little bit. It brings out the sweetness, but also when you open up the vodka and smell it with the peppers in there, oh man, it's like a brand new thing. So what I do is I make Bloody Mary with those, and it is amazing. And also it also burns really bad too. So when you drink it, your chest is like on fire. This is like Bloody Mary, times 100. As far as spice go. But it is really good. So yeah, definitely if you have never tried it before, I would say do it one time. Tom Lawrence, what about beers? I love beers, all kinds of beers, regular light beers, craft beers. I drink a lot of craft beer because I'm lucky to live in Dallas, and Dallas have some of the best craft beers around. And we have many, many companies here that make craft beers. Like, let's see, we have uh, Community Beers, which is a brand in Dallas that's local. uh, Velvet Revolver. Those are nice. There's a bunch of them. So yeah, we're very lucky to have all the beers here. Oh, Philip, you're gonna pickle some Reapers with lemon starburst. Oh man, that sounds good. Yes, another thing you can do with peppers is pickle them, or add them to other pickles. Like uh, I grow my own cucumber, so I sometimes I pickle them, and I'll put like half of the Reaper in there, and man, it'll heat that whole jar up like crazy. So yeah, definitely. Hot sauce is great. Dry them up for pizza. Make them into cocktails. Yes, all kinds of stuff you can do. Yes, GTF. I should go to Scotland and do the tour. I've always wanted to tour the Isle. Um all of the they actually have a tour that would take you to all of the places that are around the island. Like they'll take you to Lagavulin, Lafroy, and all those other places where they make the really peaty whiskeys. Man, I would love to go there. Harper, your mom has some death spiral growing right now. Wow. I've tried the death spiral a few times, and that pepper is no joke. It's called death spiral for a reason. It is very hot. And if you ever eaten a death spiral, you probably like, oh man, why did I do this? It's like a death wish. It's very hot. Yes. Yeah, reapers are no joke either. Steven says Scotch whiskey is like paint stripper compared to Irish whiskey. Oh man, that's funny. Stephen, I like them both. I think they all have their unique flavor in their own way. I love Scotch whiskey, and I do love Irish whiskey. Is Irish whiskey is like Jameson and stuff like that, right? Jameson, Redbreast, and some of the other brands. Rich, yes. Peat is awesome. Oh, you know what? Speaking of that, I'll show you. If you like peated whiskey, try this. This is the Amroot peated whiskey, and this is Cat Strength. And this is, I think they source the whiskey, but it's produced out of India. And this thing is amazing. If you like Lagavulin, this is like Lagavulin on steroids. And the price is very decent too. They're around the same price. So I love the Lagavulin 16. That's like my staple. I always have them in my cabinet. And the Amroot peated Scotch whiskey, that is Cat Strength. Oh man, that thing is amazing. So when I tried it, versus the Lagavulin 16, I actually prefer this one more. It has a more robust flavor. It's just full of it. It's very nice and sweet, very smoky, peaty smoky, and yeah, I think you'll like it if you try it. Oh right, Glenmorangie 18s. Yes, that is a really good a good box. I actually have two bottles upstairs right now sitting. One of it I got for as a birthday gift, and yeah, that ultra rare. I think they call it rare or something rare. But yeah, it is it's very good. Rich, you're right. Ardbeg is like drinking campfire. Yeah, it's very smoky. I think Ardbeg is uh, it's known to have a really smoky flavor. Same thing with Lafroy. Lafroy is it's the same thing. I think when I first started drinking uh, whiskey, I made a mistake by buying the Lafroy 10 years double oak or something like that. That was my first time ever trying a whiskey, and I did not know what to buy. I just went to a local store and just picked up randomly a box of Lafroy 10 double oak. Man, I swear I thought I was drinking like an ashtray. It's like it tastes like ashes and it's just so bad. But that was the first time I ever had scotch years ago. Now I come back to it, I actually like it. Well, we went from talking about garden and to talking about whiskey. All right, cheers, cheers, everybody. Have a happy afternoon, Sunday. Yeah, thanks for joining me here. Make it Wayne, Mr. Batman himself. I just tried Suntory Hibiki. That is a good brand, my friend. I actually collect Hibiki. So, in 2013, right? This is right before the hype started to happen. Hibiki used to be on the shelves like everywhere you go. I used to buy 5 or 6 bottles at a time of the 12 years for only $59 each. And every time I go to the stores, the Hibika is just on the shelf. I'm just like, I would like, those are just, you know, you don't even think anything of it. So I bought a few, I bought like 5 or 6 bottles because I love the pink boxes. I want to give them out as gifts. And I gave a few out, and then and I bought a few more, so I had like 5 or 6 sitting. I still have those now, and I can't believe how much they go for these days. But back in 2013, I remember because that's when I started buying those hibikis. They have like hibiki was sitting all over the place. Yamazaki was all over the shelves, and Nika was all over the shelves. I bought a bunch of those. I have them in my collections right now. Thank goodness I bought them back then, because right now you can't buy them anymore. Yeah, I have. I don't have the Hibiki 30 years, but I have 2 of the Hibiki 21 years, and I drank all of my Hibiki 17. And I think I have 3 Hibiki 12 left. But yeah, this was before the crazy hype, and so now you can't buy them anymore. And even if you find them, they're like over the price that you really want to pay for them. Ross, do you have any experience using praying mantis for pest control? I'm about to use some in the yard for the first time as soon as it cools down. Ross, the thing with praying mantis is they are really beneficial, but also at the same time, they are not beneficial because they will eat anything they can catch. So they'll catch like honeybees, they'll eat the honeybees, they'll catch worms, they'll eat the worms, they'll catch lizards too. Sometimes that if they're big enough, they will eat the lizards in your yard. Um, so also they don't stick around. So it depends on what kind of pest do you have. Do you know exactly what you're trying to control? Because if you know exactly what you're trying to control, it could be a different type of beneficial bug is better than mantis, because mantis will eat everything. They're really cool though. I love having mantis in the yard, but again, they eat my bees, my honeybees, and all that stuff. Any tips on controlling broad mites? Is it broad mites outside or broad mites inside? Is it inside your grow room or is it outside in the garden? Because outside is a lot easier to control than inside. Oh, Ross, aphids. You have a lot of aphids on your roses. Okay, so if you have aphids, then mantis is not a good beneficial bugs to have because they don't eat that many aphids. Ladybugs actually eat more aphids, and lacewing will eat more aphids than mantis. Mantis will usually they go after the bigger your prey. So Yeah, I would probably try ladybugs for um, the aphids instead of mantis. And also, the reason I noticed over the past few years, because I kind of experimented in the garden. So if you over fertilize your plants or your bushes or your trees, you're gonna get a lot of aphids. Usually balance your fertilizer. Uh, don't overfeed the plants, and anytime you overfeed the plants, you're gonna get a aphid infestation. Anytime you have a high concentration of nitrogen in your soil, um, it's gonna bring aphids. It's like it attracts aphids to the yard. So if you have it on your rose bushes, you can actually blast them off, and then you can use the natural soap and water and wash it down. You can spray them. A lot of them would die, but yes, they do. They love roses, and the reason they're so hard to treat is because when you spray these bugs, you have to spray on top of the leaves and underneath the leaves. Underneath the leaves is where most of them will live, and if you miss a few, they'll come right back and start to multiply. So yeah, aphids can be a pain, but they're easier. They're actually pretty easy to treat. You just have to, when if you do spray on top of the leaves and on the bottom of the leaves, all over the place, and then you have to repeat. So you do it, and then 2 days later do it again, and 2 days do it later again, and then until you wipe out all of them. Because if you leave them around, they'll just multiply. Because aphids don't lay egg; they lay baby aphids that lay baby aphids. So that they multiply by replicating. Yeah, I mean, aphids. I mean, if you have 200 or 400, yeah, that's a good thing. Yes, they could eat some aphids, but again, usually the mantis they eat larger prey. But yeah, definitely give it a try. They're really cool. I love the mantis. Every time I see them in the garden, I just let them be. Joaquin, you got cap capsaicin cramps. Man, those are the worst. It'll make you lay on the floor and golly, and break out in cold sweats and all that stuff. It's crazy. Yeah, Ross, if you're gonna use neem oil, I suggest you use it in the afternoon when the sun is down. Mix it up, mix it with soap. And when you spray, again, you got to spray on top of the plant, the leaves, and on the bottom of the leaves. The problem is, uh, it may not seem to work, is because you didn't spray in spots that would get all of them. And if you don't get all of them, they'll come right back and they start to multiply again. So you have to stay on top of it. Spray on top, spray on the bottom, spray everywhere, and then you will get rid of them. Tucson, Arizona. Tim, hello, hello. Man, is Arizona, how hot is it there right now? Mantas will eat hornworms too. If they can catch the hornworm, they'll eat them. Wow. Yeah. Okay. The reason I don't do basil from seed is because I don't grow them from seeds anymore. Usually, if I want to grow basil, I grow a lot of Thai basils. And what I normally do is I'll go, um, grab a few branches. You can buy them fresh in the grocery stores. And if the branches are fresh enough, you just stick it in the water and the roots will grow. And then that's how I usually grow my basil. If you grow them from seeds, they're pretty easy. They grow everywhere in my yard. What kind of basil are you asking? Is it sweet basil or Thai basil? Basil can grow really easily, but they do get a little sensitive when you water too much. Jose, what companion plants to have next to your hot peppers? You know what? I try many companion plants, and I think the best one that I usually grow around my peppers is radishes. Radishes are like magnets for aphids. A lot of the aphids will go to the radishes before they go to my peppers. Also, I grow a lot of uh, let's see what's the last thing that I usually grow. I grow these lemongrass next to my pepper, and it was a test to see if the plant would have pests on them if I have lemongrass nearby. And I can't confirm that it works, but the plant that grow next to my lemongrass have the least amount of problems. Any kind of radishes. You can grow regular radishes like the red ones, that red globe that you find in the grocery store, or you can grow like daikon radishes. And what happened is that radishes, for some reason, aphids and cabbage loopers are the worms and stuff like that. They love radishes for some reason. So every time I grow radishes, all of the aphids go to the radishes. I guess it's their favorite thing to eat. Yeah, sweet basil are very sensitive when you water too much, because they have um, their roots don't grow very deep, um, and they can stand uh, pretty dry soil. So don't water too much. It's good. It's always good to give the pot or the place where you grow your basil a thorough water, and then don't water again until you feel the soil is dry. Because if the basil is sitting in a pool of water all the time because you water every day, it'll just die. Charlie, maybe, yeah, maybe radishes have high nitrogen leaves. I'm not sure, but every time I grow radishes, like every year, never fail. Every year, I would have aphids on the radishes, and so I don't know why, but I just find that radish is just a magnet for aphids. But the good thing is, a lot of people grow radishes for the bulb, so it's okay that the aphids are attracted to the leaves. You can just either pull the leaves off and crush them, or just let them eat the leaves and avoid your peppers and stuff like that. um, Crazy Kimberlyn, my friend, how are you? Good to have you here. Hey, Crazy Kimberlyn, are you still collecting those Funko Pop? I saw a bunch of videos that you've done on the Funko Pops. Those are really neat. I had a few Funko Pops too. I had Kylo Ren, I had Magneto, Apocalypse, the Hulk, and Spider-Man. Those are and Dr. Doom. Those are my favorite characters. Dr. Doom, guys, the best villain ever. Now the real question is how to get rid of tomato hornworms. Okay, uh, this may be crazy, but I have a lot of wasps in the garden, and I every year I would, you know, plant things that would attract the wasps to come to the garden, and those guys would take care of all the hornworms for me. I used to have a lot of hornworms, but then once the wasps are coming to the garden often, I don't get them as often anymore. The wasp would take care of all of the worms for me. They just eat them, and so like my tomatoes are like much cleaner now, and my peppers no hornworms, and yeah, try to attract the wasps to get to your garden. Don't bother them. Let them do their thing, and they will take care of the garden while you're not there. And it's better than spraying for the worms and stuff like that, because a lot of people don't like spraying. So natural ways to kill those worms are the best ways. And one of the best ways I found is those big old scary looking wasps, but they don't do anything to you. They're very harmless. Not the yellow jackets though, not those. Like the paper wasps and um, what are the ones I call? But those are really good ways to get rid of them naturally. Vlad, you should plant some new radishes. The thing is, radishes love to grow in the cool months. So even if you grow them now, they won't grow very well. Um, the hornets may eat. Well, you know what? I'm not sure, because the wasps that I have, they work together with my bees, so they don't ever eat my bees. Maybe the hornets that you have are the different kinds, but yeah, you know what? They never eat my bees. They actually kind of like work together. Let's see, Drew. I'm planning my first grow tent. I purchased a powerful inline fan for the exhaust and wonder if I need to add a fan to avoid air into the tent to prevent vacuum. It's a gorilla tent. Wow, you got a nice tent there, buddy. Gorilla tents are like some of the toughest tents on the market. Good choice. Um, what are you growing, by the way? Are you growing peppers or medicinal stuff? Because if you have an exhaust already, that's probably all you need. Um, I don't even use an exhaust. I don't even use intake or outtake or anything like that. Anytime I need the air to come in, I just unzip the front zipper and allow air to get through. And also you can do the sides because they have side air vents too. You can just um, unzip it and allow the air to get in. But yeah, I don't have any intake or outtake at all. And I never used it, and it works just fine. Let's see, I grow tomatoes, peppers, melons, cucumbers, a lot of vegetables, and basically everything. And never had any issues with, like stagnant air. Getting clean on the prairies. Yes, it's unusually hot in many places this year. And of course, lettuces are just, anytime it gets a little hot, they start to bolt. Peppers and tomatoes are loving it. Yes, they love heat. My watermelons are growing really well, guys. I have a Jubilee that is like maybe almost 10 pounds now. I think they're going to go up to 20 pounds. But I love growing watermelons and melons and all kinds of cantaloupes and all that stuff. Kimberlin's growing white pumpkins. That's cool. Pumpkins can grow very fast. Like, cucumbers, watermelons, pumpkins. Like it's so crazy that when you go there every day you go out there and look at them, they get bigger. Like literally, you can see them getting bigger. And if you have like a time lapse camera and you put onto the melon, man, you can capture the progress. It grows so fast. Do I have anything to protect the melons, prevent them from touching the ground? You know what? The first year when I grew melons, it touched the ground, and then little bugs would dig holes into them. And so this year, what I did was, anytime they have fruits, I put a little uh, like a ducting material from Home Depot. I just cut the piece that is nice enough, and I sit it under the melon and let the melon sit on top of that. The ducting material works great because it's very cool. Even when the sun beat down on it, it doesn't heat up. But also, it's waterproof. So the water doesn't stay around. It dries up quickly. So the melons just kind of like it stays dry, and then the bugs doesn't dig holes into my melons anymore. John, your melons are 10 feet tall and out of control. Yes, you probably grown the indeterminate tomato. Yeah, mine too. It grows so tall that it starts to fall over, and it's grown like a vine right now. Sometimes I have to trim it just to keep it under control. All right, guys. So I have to get going now. It's been fun talking about everything, gardening, whiskey, and all this other stuff. So I would try to maybe come on again next week. But yeah, have a wonderful day and happy weekend. Bye now.